Greetings, programs. This is Wretch. Welcome back to VTM Shadows of New York. Now, in the last episode, Julia encountered Kaiser, New York City's most powerful information broker, and Julia tapped into some of her more La Sombra-like tendencies, let's say, and beat Kaiser almost within an inch of his unlife. And if Kadir hadn't interfered, there's a really good chance that the Nosferatu would have met final death. The scary thing about this is that Julia kind of liked it. But going that particular route also means that we may have lost Kadir as an ally. So we gotta see where the story goes from here. I think it's all about to kick off here very, very soon. I skipped the church visit again tonight. I want more time to finish this report. Who knows? It might be my final one. I want to spend more time with Dakota. Yeah. Just forget about the rest of the world. A lot happened tonight, but I can still manage to be at our apartment an hour earlier than usual. She should be glad. Oh, I've got a bad feeling about this. I sneak into the apartment as silently as possible, trying to surprise her. When I reach the bedroom, I see something unexpected. It hits me like a ton of bricks. At the beginning, I can't properly parse the sight. But when I finally understand what I'm looking at, it causes a wave of terror and disgust to swell up inside my chest. Okay. Oh, the cigarette. What the fuck? She's shocked to see me. Doesn't know what to do. She's like a deer in the headlights, or a schoolgirl portly trying to hide her misdeeds from a teacher. You're early. Yes, I am. Those are my clothes, Dakota. These are my cigarettes. That's my jewelry on the table. Yeah, I was, And I'm pretty sure... God almighty. I thought I was just being neurotic whenever I noticed something dreadfully familiar in you. I can explain. Please do explain. A good 10 seconds of awkward silence passes. I can see her spending an eternity in her head. This isn't what it looks like. Oh my god. It is exactly what it looks like. I'll just come out and say it. Dakota, are you single white femaling me? It all makes sense now. No, come on, no. I thought I was the leech in this relationship. We watched that movie together. We made fun of Jennifer Jason Leigh together. A roommate stalking and imitating her own roommate? Haha, what a concept, right? But I was being fed on in a more far sinister way without knowing it. Don't be silly. Silly? I've never, ever been this serious with you. So whenever she put on my makeup, whenever I used her as a mirror, was she always hyping me up because she wanted to live vicariously through me? So many little things make sense in retrospect. The little ways you kept modulating your speech after me. The weird ways our tastes were always compatible. Some of your art feeling so familiar. None of it would trigger any alarms by itself, and yet... She's as humanly embarrassed as possible.
Julia, listen.
Don't fucking touch me. I can barely think of anything more repulsive than being put on a pedestal like this. It's like the other person is begging me to perceive them as something worse, if not outright subhuman.
Don't be like this. Just don't.
You know, this would probably be infinitely more palatable if you talk to me like I'm a person here, and not like, I don't know, your fucking mommy.
You know what? Fuck you. I've been locked in this apartment by myself because all the pandemic shit going on. It's fucking me up. I know you have it hard right now, so I didn't want to bother you. Yeah, I was counting on you to ask about how I'm feeling. Babe, how is your work-life balance? Aren't you feeling claustrophobic? Hey, is it just me, or is our drug supply weirdly shrinking too fast? But no, you were too much of a self-centered bitch. You regularly suck me dry and it's okay, but the moment I entertain the thought of taking something in return, I'm crossing the line? Oh no, I'm a member of an immortal elite secret society. It's so hard to cope. Dakota, whenever I gracefully decide to visit our apartment, let's do what I enjoy until the pain stops. Fuck you. Fuck you. Sincerely, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. There's nothing you can do but take. And you should have learned by now that just taking won't make you happy, you big dumb bitch.
Stop. Just... I'm destined for better things than this. Get the fuck out of here. You disgust me. Dakota breaks down crying. She grabs a jacket and a purse and then runs out of the apartment. I don't try to stop her. I stand there for a short while in silence and then lock the door. Did she take her keys? I don't know, and I don't know if I care. I desired for someone else, not for myself. For a way to open a different world, not get locked back in mine. I collapse onto the soft bed. I smell her perfume. I always liked it, but now it makes me slightly nauseous. I try not to think of Dakota. I think of Kaiser. I think of Kadir. I think of Callahan. No matter what I think of, I sense doom. I feel that I've just sealed my fate, whatever it may be. Everything fucking sucks. Scream bloody murder achievement unlocked. Back into the void. Back into the void. Back into the void. And we need to rest, so no aristocratic taste here. And we're moving on to day 9, or night 9 rather. For me, it always starts with an image. Oh, we're back here. An image which might be vaguely eerie or interesting, but usually not an image that would provoke particularly strong feelings by itself. Usually it hides a mystery. That much is correct. But that mystery doesn't exist without a text, or more specifically, a context. Context is everything. One way or another, you need to process what you're looking at. Maybe that context will be something you've heard or overheard. Maybe, although it's quite rare and pretty special, it will be your very own creative, captivating, complete interpretation. A ghost of an idea. Is this a half-forgotten memory of something unspeakably beautiful I'll never, ever see again? Just a scene from a movie? A fragment of a music video? An animation? Or maybe this really is the last thing Callahan ever saw in his own life. warm sunbeams caressing his skin and turning it to ash, a giant ball of fire engulfing his body in flame from 93 million miles away? Was he terrified? Was he grateful? There's no will, no suicide note, no nothing. Instead, we can only count on what the local historians will write, presumably letting their biases shape the narrative one way or another. What am I looking at here? A horrible, laughable hall of mirrors? A creep who I never, ever want to see again? A vampire much more despicable than myself? Or maybe someone who loved taking care of me and deserved to be cared for in return. Funny thing, whenever I was high as a kite, mentally lost in dimensions parallel to ours, she was my anchor. Our shared history, my feelings for her, were an anchor. Matthew McConaughey, returning to his estranged daughter from the other side of the cosmos, from beyond the event horizon, guided by nothing but love. Then, whenever I got back to planet Earth, for a week or two, I was haunted by a memory of that affection. I was the best possible version of myself toward her. But that haunting always refused to transfigure into something real. What gradually took its place were angry, disappointed thoughts, and among them, one thought that I was always trying to suppress. I need someone who'd know how to raise me up, spiritually. But all I have is a sycophant who's always working her ass off to lift me up without understanding what I need. It's hurting us both. Having these words pop up in my head hurt me, because they had a ring of truth to them. But also because I knew there must be another narrative. A better narrative. I was just too stupid to find it. Story of my life. And story of my unlife. I still have no idea what I think about this city. I had my the best city in the world phase. I had just a playground for wealthy fucktards phase. Now I'm in search of a better description. One day, probably, I'll stumble upon, like, a piece of writing or a prestigious TV show scene that'll contain just that. And suddenly, I'll look at this place with new eyes. Or maybe I won't. It's like the frustrations I had back at Lodestar. All these words constantly trailing behind reality, trapping you in useless mindsets instead of bringing enlightenment. Fuck all those flashy writers whose main concern is furthering their own brand. Douchebags who present you with limited, pathetic, depressing realities where they are kings. Fuck them all to hell. We need words that will paint a brighter future before our eyes. But what if that can't be done without reinterpreting the past first? What if we haven't even defined the ills and threats correctly? Once again, my thoughts return to the same visual that had been tormenting me for almost every waking moment of this past week. A senseless demise devoid of any context. A crime scene stripped of evidence. An image created by an unknown artist, designed to leave you dumbfounded. The investigation is over. All the possible avenues explored, all the non-testimonies are in, no concrete evidence found. The play is almost complete. The actor's ready to leave the stage. It is what it is. I failed as a detective. Maybe through no fault of my own, but again, it is what it is. This case, this scene, this picture never needed an investigator. From what I understand, all the people in charge ever wanted was a talented writer. What if a ghost of an idea? When I wake up, Dakota is still not here. I don't know how to feel about that, so I just don't. Kadir hasn't left any messages by the door. Still that mad, huh? He'll probably appeal to the court to take me off the case. And if half of the garbage Kaiser was spouting is correct, he shouldn't have much trouble convincing everyone. I look in the mirror and stare at my warped non-reflection. This place is upsetting. You need a change of scenery, girl. The depressing streets of a locked-down New York City will do. I think of God. Maybe that's why I half-consciously pick the cathedral as my destination. I think of the silver cross adorning my chest. An empty signifier. Whenever someone asks me why I wear it, they hear a different story. I think of these silhouettes that I keep spotting from the corner of my eye. No. I don't even want to imagine what that means. I feel what it means. And it makes me nauseous enough. I think of my clan, so closely tied to the Catholic Church. It's a loveless marriage, so to speak. Like, for example, the one between my parents. I think about the great irony of the Lasombra's truce with the Holy See. We're the only ones who stay so close to the Lord's light, even though we're certain we will never, ever reach it. Some of us shadows have visions. Visions of comrades who departed this world recently, traveling through some abstract space, one that's disturbing and astonishing in equal measures. They almost reach whatever afterlife there is for our kind, but they get caught and consumed by a dark, monstrous silhouette. The rumor is, our antediluvian wasn't stopped by his final death. He's still out there, behind the shadows, taking revenge for our patricide, feeding on us like Saturn devouring his children. As Dakota would say, it might not be factual, but it is an emotional truth. From joining the Camarilla to panically scrambling for any safe house, it's like our elders are solely motivated by fear. The sins of our fathers are catching up with them, and it's young kindred like me who are given responsibility to clean up their mess with a constant sense of doom looming over the horizon. We don't talk about salvation anymore. We're just minimizing the impact of damnation. That's no way to live, but then again, maybe that's why they call it unlife. Shit. It's Benoit. Hello there, lost sheep. I'll have you know this shepherd was extraordinarily patient in waiting for you. What are you doing here while the night is so young? Out for blood? Well, you're in luck. This place offers both body and blood. If missionaries learned their methods from pickup artists, they would all be like this guy. I'm not in the mood, you sorry-ass bum. Step the fuck away from me, or you're going to be sorry. Oh my, something troubling you? If so, I can arrange a confession. Or if you're in a hurry, keep in mind, the path from inner turmoil begins with a friendly ear, and I've got one right here. Kurwa Jabana Tuja, you just want me to fuck you up, don't you? Don't you? Julia, as you should know by now, I always interpret this kind of response to preaching the divine as the devil stirring inside. Is that what it is, Julia? The liar and the father of lies got a hold on your soul? If so, give me a signal, even the smallest one. I'll do my best to spot it. Something swells up inside my chest. I recognize the feeling. The handbrake just broke, and I'm definitely not on level ground. Fuck. Here we go. Listen, I've had enough, alright? Enough. Enough of your sanctimonious attitude. Enough of your brazen lack of basic empathy. Enough of your dumb, ugly fucking mug. Your fucking singularity of stupidity, tastelessness, and cringe. I've met all sorts of horrible shitheads and asshats this week, and somehow none of them got under my skin the way you do, you motherfucker. Like a goddamn Jehovah's Witness going from door to door, except are always knocking on my fucking skull, going, "Hey, do you know God exists? Have you heard that God exists?" Like, what? Hold on, hold it right there. When did I ever say that God exists? What? I said, what makes you think I believe God exists? Oh, now you're just fucking with me. No, I'm serious. Well, he sounds serious at least. I'm actually speechless. I think there's some sort of silly misunderstanding that desperately needs to be cleared up. I'm all ears. I sure hope so, Julia. I feel like you must have ignored half of what I've been saying for you to reach these conclusions. That's very well possible, actually. It usually takes 15 seconds of him talking to get me completely zoned out. So, to avoid any further mix-ups, I'll go back to the beginning and explain the core of my religious beliefs, okay? So, I love the Catholic imagery. I cherish the tradition and lore. I adore the practices, the intricacies of the theology, the messages contained in the Bible. Of course I do. Does that mean I believe that one day I will see the big dad in the sky? Forgive me, Lord, but I don't think so. Doesn't sound very likely, especially for a bloodthirsty creature of the night. So, that's what this is about? Fun imagery? That's overly simplified, but yes, I suppose you could say that. Motherfucker. You ain't Catholic. You're just a weirdo cosplayer. Says a non-practitioner who still wears a cross. Yeah, but I don't shove it down people's throats for fun in my spare time. I'm simply trying to share the joys religion has brought to my own life with others. What joys? Oh, where to start when there are so many? The joy of having plainly understandable rules to follow. The joy of having a structure to your life. The joy of always knowing where to find people who share your values. Above all, it's the joys of being an aristocracy. Surrounding oneself with exquisite, luxurious architecture, beautiful classical music, ornate rituals formalizing our actions and relationships. This is actually a very interesting take on the Toreador. A pursuit of virtue separating you from the masses, the hierarchies, the communities, all serving an idea greater than themselves. It's like monarchy or some Camarilla traditions, but not as gauche. So that's what it was? You saw pretty paintings and buildings and thought, hell yeah, I want in. And then you just decided what they mean to you? Oh, don't get me wrong, it's real faith that brought me to the fold, but eventually I whittled down this religion to its core, to what interests me. Unbelievable. But don't think for a second I wasn't empathetic when I was trying to convert you. You're the embodiment of existential despair surrounding us, the one that people usually try to drown out with drugs, sex, work, Netflix. Pick your poison. All of them temporary copes. Empty yourself. Kill your ego. Get a routine. Join a community. Ground your morality in something tangible. Start perceiving yourself as part of something greater. All of it good advice by itself, but codified in an appealing otherworldly aesthetic, one that keeps the beast at bay, one you're almost fitting into the way you are, What's there to hate?
Unbelievable. You're a goddamn lunatic.
He looks to the sky. Father, forgive them. They know not what they do. Stop that. Your entire ideology is just aesthetics, you fucking loon. And how exactly do I differ from anyone else nowadays in this regard? Stop arguing semantics. No, you stop. Just look at yourself. A privileged burnout who refuses to invest herself in anything. Only started committing to anything when, for once in your unlife, you were forced into a politically charged, dangerous task. Once it's over, you'll be back to being an aimless brat. Desire to murder increases. Ever since World War II, I've been watching every person and every ideal I cared about wither and disappear. That's the source of my pain. That's the reason I am what I am. The source of your pain? A thing that defines you? People have been mean to you. Fuck off. People in third world countries keep their heads high while suffering from every sort of horror, but you have a complete mental breakdown every time you remember you have mommy issues. Wow. Classy. Oh, don't act like you have the high ground around here, you oblivious sadist. All I'm saying is everyone has a different framework, a different lens to view their suffering through. Yes, and if there's one thing abandoning your humanity should have shown you, it's that kind frameworks are not enough. Petty vendettas, childish romances, pointless power struggles, the dumb gamble that's chasing a successful career. Mommy and daddy issues? Sure, why not? Pain and pleasure dictate everything. Everyone wants something bigger than this. They want to escape from this drudgery. They want psychedelia, but permanent. They want to stare at God's face, even if He does not exist. And you can show them how. Accept the cross you're wearing into your heart, Julia. Accept it. Creepy fucker. Just accept it. Alright, that'll be enough, Benoit. The mood changes in an instant. The sight of Father Leonard takes us both aback. Father, what are you doing here so early? You two are arguing so loudly I had to come out and check. Even if with all the panic on TV these days, simply walking outside feels like marching into a war zone. Yeah, I'm sorry. You should be. I was willing to turn a blind eye to your quirks because I believe you have your heart in the right place mostly, but I'm very disappointed in the way you approach folks in need. Right now, Benoit Segal is displaying all the confidence of a scolded teacher's favorite. But I was just trying to guide her, to set her on the right path. I know, Benoit. I know. And that's the problem. Wait, your sacristy, I can't pronounce that, is open. Please head there right now. We need to have a long talk. Get me some coffee if you wish. But... Benoit! He slowly slinks away, looking defeated, deflated, debased. I burn the moment into my retinas, etch it on my soul, kind of hoping I'll never have to see him again, and this is how I'll remember him. Father Leonard watches him closely until he disappears from sight, and then turns to me. I feel sorry for him. I keep hoping he might find some basic empathy through faith, but all I've done thus far is let him leave you at the end of your tether. Yeah, that's some faith he has. Are you okay with all the bullshit he's sprouting? Huh. Well, I don't exactly support it, but I don't reject it. It's like attrition and contrition. Imperfect and perfect repentance, you know? One is focused on a relationship with God. The other, selfish and focused on personal gain. But both of them work. Yeah, but doesn't this strike you as completely missing the point? A bit, but purely secular takes on Christ's teachings are nothing new. Pascal's Wager is a boring example, but have you by chance read Bulgakov's The Master and Margarita? Sure. Back in Poland, every teen trying to look intellectual online loved to repeat that joke about the talking cat who swears he'd never poured vodka for a lady because women deserve pure alcohol. And that's one takeaway from that novel, I suppose. I read it as a moving depiction of Christ who's not a divine being, stripped of mythic qualities but open for transcendence. Jesus and Satan understood as powerful forces battling within us. I would have to read it again, it's been too long. Sounds nice, though. I stretch lazily and take out another smoke. Leonard watches me closely before speaking up again. Julia. 4 hours from now, there's going to be a meeting in the Elysium. The big finale of Celebrations of Power. Everyone will be there, but they were counting on you to not show up. The good sheriff plans to present the results of the investigation in your stead. It's a simple, crude strategy. Might work, but begs to be countered with an outrageous tactic. Take it as you will. The game is about to end. Momentarily, I'm left dumbfounded. All I can muster is an eloquent... Huh? Oh, don't ask me. I'm just the messenger. Who relayed this message to you, then? A good friend. A cautious friend. Wouldn't be able to tell you more than that, even if you forced me to. Well, shit. This is the moment that might decide the rest of my days. What would you do in my place, Father? When I was faced with the dilemma that would shape the rest of my life, the world felt too big and scary and impossible to understand. So I simply escaped from that choice into the seminary. Yeah, well, if that's your idea of good advice, I'm going to have to ask you to shove it. I'd expect nothing less. Don't you regret it? Regret what? You're kind of shady, but you don't seem like a bad guy. Still, you have to accept the people above you are responsible for some horrible things. If our superiors' acts count as our own sins, then on the face of it, probably half the people in this world are irredeemable. Clever, but not a real answer. And being a low-level grunt for assholes you find wholly objectionable is no way to live. I don't know. Is it? I finish the smoke in silence. I have to go. Don't know if and when we'll see each other again, but when that happens, I probably won't be the same old me. Of course. But before I leave to scold Benoit, let me say one more thing. Yeah? These are difficult times. My parishioners keep calling me. The things people are going through, they might never admit, but if this keeps up, it'll cause horrifying invisible damage to this nation. A dreadful darkness is killing us all little by little, and like every powerful evil, it manifests itself little by little. And yet, sinful as it may be, I confess to being strangely excited. For a moment, we're seeing this suffocating normal disappear. This is the time to dream a new world is possible. Walk these empty streets, Julia. Remember how the city feels right now. Bask in its shadows and uncertainties. After the apocalypse comes the great rebirth. The Amici Noctis await your report with great curiosity. I give him a nod, and I sprint away. Now I know what I must do. Alright, looks like it is about to endgame is definitely about to start, guys. And we see the moon here, and so Father Leonard was part of the group of priests in the Catholic Church that served the Lasombra clan. That's not a big, revelation. But, very interesting, his insight and how it's going to deal with, how it's going to affect Julia. So I'm not sure what's going to happen next, but we will find out in the next episode, guys. I hope you all have enjoyed it. If you liked it, please leave a like down below. Subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, that'd be a big help. And we'll see you next time. Later days, everyone.